It's crew. Happy. Wait, is it Wednesday? Thursday? Shy. I don't even know what day it is, Shy.
Thursday.
It's Thursday.
It's been a long week,
It
so
has been a
I don't
long
blame
week,
you.
bro. It's been a long week, but yeah, happy Thursday, everybody. We're getting things going this morning. Market's kind of quiet, but definitely some stuff to look forward to. We had more earnings going off, more economic data. We got some economic data coming out tomorrow that I'm going to be heavily watching as well. So plenty to look forward to. I'm excited for the show. Shy, how we feeling this morning, man?
Feeling good. This is a very big afternoon. Amazon is reporting. The AWS of the new internet's reporting. Cloudflare. So we have not had the earnings season we were hoping for. So let's see if Amazon can buck that trend a bit. But yeah, going to be prepared. It looks like the market's pretty green this morning, and we're digesting a lot of moves. I do want to call out. It's been sell the news. Not sell your positions on Fridays before the weekend because every weekend so far in 25 you've gotten some bad news or some headwinds. So the White
It's
House
that type
has
of market, man.
yeah, the White House or Trump has been pretty quiet in the past like 24, 48 hours. I don't think that's going to be the case. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, let's recap with the daily rip and prepare for the morning. Here's the heat map. Nvidia looking really green along with AVGO, but Google, Amazon taking the hit, especially Google after earnings not looking too great, and then that kind of concerns me a little bit for Amazon tonight. But we'll see how that goes. Tesla down 3.5%. Also, I think it's down a little bit this morning, but coming into some big areas that I'm actually very interested in that we can maybe talk about later on the show. But anything really stand out to you, Shy, that you want to note here?
Yeah, Nvidia. I think Nvidia was unfairly punished to the extent that it was from DeepSeek's playbook review. People need to stop viewing them as a hardware company. They've they've grown out of that. They're a full ecosystem now via CUDA. So like to see them recovering the 125 level. That was a major level for me because that was the 40-week SMA, 200-day SMA. Like that is a key level they need to bounce and go above on. Um, and you're seeing like Google's CapEx exceeded expectations significantly. I think it was 75 bill. Estimates were 58 bill. You got some commentary from Microsoft that you feel like CapEx is plateauing a bit. It's not like increasing quarter after quarter incrementally anymore, and that caused some squeamishness. But I don't know. I think it's fine. I just think Google is just. I wouldn't be touching Google for the next like 3 months. Like it's going to be range bounds, digesting that weak cloud numbers. It's going all in on AI, and it feels like it's treating this year as an investment year for them because that capex is through the roof, and they're not seeing the AI workloads yet uh, bear fruit from that capex spend, and that's usually going to be a bad combination in the near term. And Amazon, yeah, Amazon's gonna be a big one this afternoon, so it's looking more and more like entering this year. I was mentioning this, like I just don't wouldn't want to be in big tech. I think the repositioning is occurring. We're kind of seeing that right now, especially in earnings season. Where what is the driver that's going to catch a bid for big tech? There isn't one right now. Where they're all investing really hard in this AI arms race. That's going to be at the expense of their margins, and their revenue isn't exceeding the capex spending that they're doing right now that's affecting their bottom line. So like it's a really bad combo, and I just think there's better alpha elsewhere. And Tesla's having really bad EV numbers coming out in Europe. Do what you want with that information. It's not an EV company in my eyes. They're purely sacrificing EV for AI, so might be a buying opportunity.
Yep, we'll see. MicroStrategy makes its latest move. Software company turned leveraged Bitcoin holding company was slated to report earnings after the bell, but decided to distract the market temporarily with a midday announcement. They rebranded to Strategy. I personally thought they should have done Macro Strategy. I feel like that made a little bit more sense, but all good, all good. Fully embracing its pivot as the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company. Among other things, Michael Saylor and team continue to put on a masterclass in corporate finance and marketing that will go down as a case study of what to do or not to do to drive shareholder value. Time and Bitcoin's price will tell. So we'll see what happens with that. But interesting, they're rebranding to just Strategy now. Love the little Bitcoin logo there. It's pretty cool. But any thoughts on that, Shy?
I'm masterclass isn't a really aggressive description of what
I
Saylor's
know. I
doing.
was
I
like,
think he's more like shilling,
yeah.
I would say, or just I don't know. I'm so
Masterclass is a little crazy, but you know.
yeah. It's just what I first of all I think the name's really dumb. I think it makes me think of that Social Network the movie. I think this like meme was going around yesterday where Justin Timberlake's character when he was like telling Zuck in the movie was like, "Don't do the Facebook, drop the Facebook. It's
Yeah.
cleaner."
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's like what happened in in MicroStrategy's like
Absolutely.
room. So
It's like
I don't know.
just clean it up a little bit, you know.
I don't see
I
the case.
I hate when companies do this. Like Square and Block and like I don't know, is it XYZ net? Like what do we even call it now? I don't even
Yeah.
know what it's called, honestly. I
Well,
couldn't tell you. I just think it's funny.
the ticker just changed. The company name stayed the same for Square, but I
Gotcha.
mean Block. But again,
Yeah, I
like
don't even know.
there you go. Like I'm going back and forth. It's dumb.
It is dumb. What else we got? BlackBerry at 15-month highs. Excuse me. I haven't heard of BlackBerry in a minute. It's been a while since I've really looked at this chart, but coming into that $5, looking like a spot of resistance previously. If you just look left on that chart, definitely not a name I really look to trade much, but definitely getting some momentum off these lows. So maybe for a little bit of a short-term opportunity. When I say short-term, I mean very short-term. I definitely would not be long-term investing in something like this, but obviously, when short-term momentum is there, can be a name to trade. It looks like the sentiment is extremely bullish on stock. Is this? I don't know if that's stock to us. That might just be E-Trade. But yeah, any thoughts on this, Shy? BlackBerry? I feel like it's been a long time since we've even looked at
I
this.
mean, tell me the bull case, guys, because I'm missing it. I didn't even know
Yeah,
this company really. It's. I mean, look at it. Look at the all time. Like 10 years ago, it's still red from 10 years ago.
it's
I
bad.
just come on. We're entering the fourth industrial revolution. Like, do you want to like park your cash in a BlackBerry where
Why?
it's not moving? It just doesn't make sense. It
Why?
doesn't.
Why? What else we got? Today's top things to watch out for. We got economic data, Bank of England rate decision at 7 o'clock Eastern. Initial jobless claims at 8:30 Eastern. We just had that. Non-farm productivity and labor costs 8:30. That came in as well. Now we have Fed Waller speech at 12:30 Eastern. So something to watch out for there. Mexico interest rate decision at 2 o'clock Eastern. Fed daily speech at 3:30, and then the India interest rate decision at 11:30. Pre-market earnings going on a Roblox, Peloton, Under Armour, Eli Lilly, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers, and Philip Morris. We are going to talk about some of those earnings. I know there's some people wondering about Roblox. We will get to that, so don't worry. Then we got after our earnings tonight. Obviously, we're all watching Amazon. That's going to be the big dog. But we got Pinterest. We got Affirm, Cloudflare, Take-Two Interactive, Fortinet, Expedia Group, Illumina, GoPro. Wait, GoPro's public? It is public. I totally forgot about that. That's it. Interesting. Clean Spark and then Elf Beauty as well. I totally forgot GoPro's a public company. I'm actually curious on how that stock's doing. But I know you're watching Amazon, Shy, but any big notes you wanna put in front of the crew here?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon is obviously. I want to add more Amazon. It's an 8% position for me. Like my before every year begins, I always write like my goals for the following year of like portfolio management, like which names I want more exposure in, which ones I want to maybe de-risk a little. Amazon was one. It was like I want this to be a 12 to 15% position. Like I really want this to be like one of those anchors of my portfolio because I think they're going to be leading that robotics AI theme that's not being priced in the stock. I do think that AWS is the king of compute, and compute's going to be invaluable in an agentic AI environment. And I think last earnings cycle, maybe it was two earnings ago, but e-commerce dinged them a bit. I think the margins on their e-commerce business, that's going to be an easy lever to pull for their logistics robotics when it comes to scale. They already have 700,000 to 800,000 robots in their warehouses. But I think Amazon is looking to save the day for cloud stocks. Azure and Google Cloud had weak AI workloads. I don't know if this is a cloud issue. And also, AMD had weak data center revenues. Like, again, AMD is not the best pre read, but cloud has been weak this cycle. So you also had ServiceNow also had a pretty bad print as well, even though that was more of a business change that they were doing in the within their org. But either way, like it's not been a great place to be in. Let's hope the king saves the day. If not, I can see names like Snowflake, Datadog, Confluence, MongoDB, even Cloudflare reporting out about like a lot of these software stocks. They might pull back a bit because they've run this year. A lot of those names that's called out, they're all up 22, 25% when the market's only up 3% this year. And we're just 5 weeks in. So there's a lot being priced into the software names because of the stage 2 AI components. However, cloud is showing really the big cloud numbers, big cloud service providers are showing weak numbers. If Amazon follows suit, it is somewhat alarming. Also, Cloudflare. The only thing I want to mention on that is it's people don't reference Cloudflare as just as in same price world as a Palantir. Like Palantir is always referenced like this is stupid high valuation. It's just like what's happening in Palantir, who's bidding it up this at above $100. But I did a post today on every week. I do a post on the top 15 growth tech, most expensive growth tech stocks. Palantir is trading at 134 times this year's EBITDA. Cloudflare is trading at 109 times this year's EBITDA. Like it's
Oh, did Chai cut out? Or did I cut out? Is it Shy? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, homie lost connection. Usually that's not the case, ladies and gents. Usually it's me. I'm surprised this time. Now, of course, don't want to lose Shy, but I'm kind of happy it's not me this time. Well, we can keep on going with the daily rip till he gets back, but let's take a look at some of these charts. We got AMD. Ooh, not looking good, guys. I mean, you saw the earnings. You saw the breakdown, the continued selling. It's not looking good. I'm very happy that I'm out of my shares personally. But let me just take a look at AMD on my own chart as well. God, this poor thing, man. I don't see the bull case at all. Obviously, we did get a nice bounce yesterday after the gap down. But I mean, one day doesn't make a trend, right, guys? One day is great, but it just doesn't make a trend for me. So, if we want to get some buying going on and actually maybe fill these gaps to the upside and maybe start to get some momentum, then, sure, we can look for some short-term bounces. But in terms of long-term investing, I'm not looking to buy back on this name. I'm divorced with it now. And, if I am going to play it, it's going to be short-term plays. So not really something that's looking too great anymore. Shy's back. There he is. You all good over
what's
there?
up? Aaron, I just went out, guys. Sorry. Yeah, the rain.
All good. I'm just glad it wasn't me
It's
this time,
raining.
man. It's usually me. No, we're just looking at AMD, the advanced money destroyer,
Oof.
and
Yeah.
I mean, it got a nice bounce yesterday, but I was telling the crew, I mean, a bounce on a day is great, but a day doesn't make a trend whatsoever. I don't care what happens in one day on a higher time frame, right? So, looking good from yesterday on the bounce, but in terms of longer time frame, this just looks bad. What are you thinking, Shy? I mean, any bull case whatsoever right now, or what?
Bull case, I don't see one right now. Mainly because their ecosystem offering is really underwhelming. The only bull case I could see is a CPU renaissance that might happen in PCs due to the DeepSeek playbook reveal. That's something that's interesting. But again, like GPUs is where like you're gonna get that AI premium that the market's gonna assign to you. You can't just be a hardware company anymore. Hyperscalers want the full ecosystem when they use your hardware, and AMD just doesn't have that. They have these great partnerships, but you're not seeing that reflected in deployments into their business, and you're not seeing. And the best tell is just their AI data center revenue that missed. So at a certain point, like Lisa, every quarter, the CEO Lisa says like it's going to happen. We're going to make billions and billions of dollars in it. But like, when are you going to start like having less weight of what she's saying? Because we're not seeing a reflector right now, and we're in the peak of infrastructure spend for AI. Like it is the best it's ever going to be, in my opinion, for this specific infrastructure of AI. And they're missing on their AI data center revenue, and it's just like it's not passing the sniff test. So at a certain point, like you have to ask you, okay, when do I jump off the ship? That's tricky because it is undervalued right now, but it's a value trap because it doesn't deserve a premium in AI because it's not proving that it does. So it's going the cheap can get cheaper,
Hmm.
and until that narrative changes, it's going to take an earnings report to buck that, like a catalyst like that to buck that narrative, and it's just like not fair. Like as soon as they have the latest and greatest chip on the market, Nvidia has Blackwell. It has Rubin after that. It's like their innovation, Nvidia's innovation window is tightening, like becoming shorter and shorter. That's not making enough room for competition. Like this isn't like the uh, s- gaming market or CPU market where like you can be second fiddle and that's okay. Like in this like realm of AI, like nobody wants second fiddle. Like they want the best chance for them to get their end outcome in machine learning and AI. And in order to do that, you need the best tools possible. And Nvidia's pricey ecosystem, it's pricey, but the pricey ecosystem allows customers to get from point A to point B in a much the highest probability and most efficient way. AMD doesn't offer that, so people aren't going to be willing to like, oh, I'm going to save a couple of dollars, even though my path from A to B might be more difficult. That's not how CTOs think. That's AMD's problem. So they need to fix their software.
Uh-oh, there he goes again. No way. Shy guy having the problems this morning. That's okay. That's okay. We'll keep moving on the charts. Oh, wait. There he is. You're good.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
good.
good.
You're good.
But yeah,
We're
that's
good.
my AMD spiel.
All right. Pretty good. All right. What do we got? GLD stair step rally in gold continues. Gold has been ridiculously strong, guys. It's been crazy. Along with silver, of course, because they're moving pretty similar. But I mean, not really looking to fade gold at this moment. I didn't think this was going to happen given the last real nice dip we had where it got really quiet and we were just consolidating. I thought gold was kind of done, especially with like risk on with Bitcoin kind of happening. But clearly I was wrong and we're making new highs on gold and the momentum's really strong. So, and right now this daily candle as of now is just an inside candle from yesterday's range. So nothing telling me this wants to maybe turn its head and come on in. Of course, after some big moves like this, you could see a bit of a pullback or at least just sideways consolidation. But gold looking amazing, man. So shout out to that. Shout out if you've been long gold. It's been a great trade. Shy, how are you feeling about gold here? I mean, it's been nuts to the upside here. Definitely turned back on. And then you see Bitcoin dropping, right? It's beautiful. It's like vice versa. When Bitcoin's tired and, you know, not doing much, you see gold absolutely ripping and then vice versa. So curious on your thoughts here.
I mean, gold is a hedge towards risk on environment. So DeepSeek playbook reveal was obviously not good for risk on environment for tech. Gold went up. Geopolitical tensions, tariffs are not good for risk on environment. Gold's going to go up. Like it is a great hedge, and I think that's why it's doing well. But like if you're calling BS to what Trump's tariffs talk are, geopolitical tensions, or like tech's going to do just fine in AI, like maybe gold suffers, but either way, this is like so outside my lane. It's a commodity investor like me. I'm a I'm a perma AI bull, so
Yeah.
like it is the opposite of my characteristics.
Yeah, definitely. I find it to be a fun trading vehicle for the most part for me on the shorter term side of things. But yeah, keep an eye on gold with the continued momentum. Let's see what else we got. Shop flat top breakout. God, I haven't traded shop in a while, and let me tell you, the last time I was trading it, it was sitting around that 60, $70 or so. Now we're just consolidating over $100. Love to see it. Obviously, you have that big gap. I assume that's from it's from an earnings report that we are holding right now. We've been consolidating over it. Tried to break into that gap slightly, but held that $100 at 99 bucks and moving right back to the top of the breakout here. So, I mean, this looks healthy to me, especially after that big earnings move to the upside. You see consolidation, needed to breathe for a little bit, and now we're starting to pick up that momentum again. So, I do think this looks good on the chart. Of course, for the fundamental side of things and just like actually what's going on with the business, that's where I'm not as educated on this. I'm curious on your thoughts on shop shy because it's more in that retail sector, and I feel like you're not as big in that sector at all. But
Yeah,
curious on how you're feeling about this one.
so Shop has always had a premium valuation associated to them. Once they wave their white flag on the logistics network, um, that they were trying to aim at a couple years ago. Essentially, Amazon won. Surprise or no? But one of the characteristics I look for in a moat for a company is a logistics network, and Shopify giving up on that because of the expense. They're focused on profitability, and obviously that's going to be a heavy capex um, for their business. And in a time, I think it was 2022 or 2023, like all the focus was on profitability. Like, who cares about top line growth? Moats is like, are you profitable? Like, that's all the market cared back then. And they waved the red flag. I was like, oh, I don't know. I see them like as I don't think they're going to be like as high of a ceiling if they don't have the logistics network. Clearly, I was wrong about that. They're just like their margin expansion opportunity was far greater than I thought they would be. Their top line growth is like healthy. I do think their Shopify's kind of perfectly set up in the agentic AI environment. Like, you guys hear my spiel all the time. My thesis on what's going to happen to SMBs once AI agents are going to be able to create 10 SMBs overnight for Jordan and myself. 100, there's going to be like 100x times more products because we don't need departments anymore to deploy all these products. Like, we just need essentially one or two AI agents. Where are they going to place those products on? Shopify. So Shopify is going to, in my opinion, have capitalized on the ridiculous amount of products that are going to be released into the market in the agentic AI environments, and they're set up with that for their network. Like, their network effect is huge. That's one of the moats that I also look for in a stock. So like Shopify, I wouldn't get in above $100, but like I do think that you saw them catch a major bid in Q4 of last year. I do think that's when the AI agents narrative was starting to come to play, and that's why software also caught a major bid. I think that's why Shopify was also like capitalizing on that, where a lot of people aren't talking about the e-commerce tailwind of AI agents, but it absolutely is going to be that. The way I'm playing Shopify, the reason I also don't want to be in Shopify is because I'm really bullish on Global E, ticker GLBE. That's essentially the white glove service that Shopify has on their platform, and that's the e-commerce component, like the global e-commerce component of Shopify's offerings. And Global E is essentially solving the complexity chain of cross-border transactions. And again, my thesis: products will explode, and you're going to market and advertise it for it globally. Global E is going to be a major beneficiary of that because they are the picks and shovels play of the whole e-commerce thematic, and they're worth less than $10 billion. And this is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So like, I think Global E is more of like a 2 or 3x leverage Shopify bets, and that's why I'm playing it that way. And I think Global E is also hitting a new 52-week high. So like, I think you're seeing, yeah, that's my take on Shopify. But and I just want to diversify. But I like Shopify. I love Global E, and that's why I'm not really touching Shopify.
Gotcha, makes sense. MNMD, Mind Medicine breakout on volume. I've never seen this chart, but this thing definitely getting some momentum out of this consolidation. One of the biotech companies, so definitely something to be careful with, especially if you're swing trading something like this. But obviously, great momentum, and the short-term setup has been there. Getting into that $10, which I would anticipate is a big psychological level, clearly, that you probably want to watch out for. It also looks like, oh no, we broke through that previous high. So we're above that previous high. It's just a matter of that $10 being that big psychological level. But obviously, I would just take it by level here. I don't know. Let's see. Let me just bring it up on my chart. I'm just curious. I want to look a little more left on this chart here. Yeah, so just looking more left, we're coming from even bigger consolidation. So we do have some big levels to watch out for to the upside, like 10, 20, $11 even. Basically just taking it level by level, every 50 cents, every even dollar. I would be, very cautious going into those big psychological levels. And yeah, I'd ride the momentum if it's there, which it has been. But not a name I trade, not a name I'm familiar with. It's a biotech company, so definitely got to be careful. But some nice momentum lately. Any thoughts, Shy?
Is it a psychedelic drug? I don't know. I forgot what it was, but
It's possible. Let me see.
it might be. I don't know. Biotech's tricky, guys. So like, you have to really be bullish on their product offering, or pipeline, or data, etc. So this chart looks bullish. If it's psychedelic, let me look
It
it up
treats
real quick.
brain and health disorders.
I think that's psychedelic a bit. Let's
I don't
see.
see anything about that, but it's possible.
Yeah. So it's
Which
psychedelic
could be
used for
something
mental health.
interesting going throughout this, not even just this year, but the next 4 years. Could be something
I
to
mean,
watch out for, given the administration we have.
I will say like I don't know anything about RFK Jr.'s stance on psychedelic drugs. If he's for that, really bullish tailwind. So like do your research on RFK Jr.'s preference on psychedelics. If he's kind of pro it, might be a massive tailwind, especially I don't know what got released yesterday, but clearly there was a major catalyst on the data front. So something to watch out for.
Oh, yeah. What else we got? Let's see. I know we got the market opening in 5 minutes, so watch out for that bell. Here's the SPY. Low volume day for the S&P 500. So, yeah, interesting. Something to note. Of course, we generally think if you see rising price, lowering volume, it's not a trend that's getting stronger, right? Because if price is rising, you want to see volume pushing that and continuing to rise with price, right? So right here, you're seeing the opposite of that, right? You're seeing rising price and lowering volume now. When I definitely first started trading, that was a huge factor for me, and it absolutely can be. It can be a point of confluence, but for me, I mean, we essentially watched the market rip a decent amount, rally on the daily charts, all off lowering volume. So, in terms of letting it make decisions for me, lowering volume, rising price, vice versa, none of it matters too much. I actually, for anybody that's curious, I don't even have volume on my chart. It's not something I ever look at, care about. But I'm also a different style trader than most people, right? So take that for what it's worth. But SPY looking interesting, right? We're holding these higher lows. I have nothing that's telling me, oh my gosh, we're going to crash and burn and I need to be a big bad bear. I have been playing a lot of shorts, but that's more just in the intraday. And I mean, when you look at this chart, yes, it's a different market into 2025. You can see the difference in the consolidation versus the trendy price action, but nothing has really happened. If you're making big directional decisions here, in my opinion, unless it's to the upside following the trend, right? Like if I have to choose a big direction here, I still have to go upside because that's been what the trend is, and we're just consolidating from that impulsive trend up, right? So, but I do think, if you're really super confident in one direction here, I I'd be careful, right? Because it's not very clear. Looking at this consolidation, it's not very clear at all where the SPY wants to go later. So, any thoughts, Shy, on the SPY right now? I know things are a little bit interesting here into the new year, but curious on how we're feeling here.
I'm bearish. I think big tech missed their earnings. Like unless Amazon saves the day, and clearly Nvidia will find out in a couple weeks, but they missed their earnings so far, and you have to ask yourself like, what's the next catalyst?
Yep.
Trump is going. We're in a high stakes poker game right now, in Trump's first 100 days. There's going to be news flow that's gonna rug pull any market. So when you don't have the earnings back, like giving a high floor on the stock market, and essentially, let's be honest, like big tech drives SPY. Like it's such a heavy component now. Like SPY and Nasdaq, they're very similar. They are. So when I say big tech didn't deliver, that is an anchor for any rally because the multiples got more expensive on a lot of these big tech companies just from 2 weeks ago. Even though stock price is essentially the same, the multiples got more expensive because, like I mentioned, revenue was in line or slightly miss. CapEx exceeded expectations, and there's going to be a margin, not, yeah, like an earnings compression that occurred with that combination, and now the multiples look more expensive. So, like, I don't see a catalyst in the in the market, indice wise. I think the breadth is widening. You're clearly going to see that. So I think small cap software, um, other like I think small cap and software, like I do think the breadth's widening definitely, and big tech is not where you want to be, especially after this earnings cycle we saw, and that is going to hold the indices back. I don't think it's. I still think it's going to hit 560 to 570 sometime. Like I think we have to retest that 200-day SMA level. Like we just, I don't know what the statistic is of how long, like if we're at a record length of how long it's been since we retested it, but it's been years. That's not healthy. So like I do think we have to retest at some time, and earnings wasn't the catalyst we needed. Who knows what Trump's gonna say? It's a bad combination. So like I have an 11 to 12% cash position right now. I'm preparing for like discounts going forward.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I mean, I think this year I've played a few options plays now all alongside. There's that bell. Market is open. Let's go, baby. Um, but it just goes to show. I mean, the majority of all my intraday trades have been to the short side, and it's not for because I just want a short or whatever. I don't care. Whichever way we go is fine with me. It's just given the opportunities that we've seen, right? I've had a lot more short opportunities lately, so something to keep note of there. Let's see what else we got. Market is open. That might be it for the charts, unless we got another one. No, that's about it. Somebody asked what my go-to indicators are. To be honest with you, I don't personally use indicators. No EMAs, no volume, no nothing. I watch price, and that's all I need personally. But if I like the only indicator I'd really use is it's called Power of Three. It literally just shows me a higher time frame candlestick next to whatever time frame I'm on. So like I have a 4-hour candlestick chosen on that indicator. So no matter whether I'm on a 5-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame, doesn't matter. It's always going to show what the 4-hour candlestick represents right next to my normal chart. So that's the only thing I use because I like to be aware of what the higher time frame candle is looking like because the market is fractal, right? What's happening on a higher time frame, you can see the exact same thing on a lower time frame inside of that higher time frame. So knowing that the market is fractal, I want to understand what's happening on that higher time frame candle to be able to take higher probability entries on the lower time frame, if that makes sense. But no indicators, no buy sell crap, no EMAs, and none of that. Not for me. Unless I will throw a moving average on my chart for like a long-term name that I want to understand. Okay, where's the moving average for the daily, weekly on this long-term name? Are we rebalancing towards that? Is that an area I would look to maybe add some shares to for the long term? But in terms of high frequency trading, shorter term intraday trades, absolutely no indicators for me. Somebody was asking about Roblox, Shy. They're down on earnings this morning, taking a bit of a hit. But they were wondering if you're thinking about any long-term looks here on Roblox at these areas.
I have to listen to a conference call because their guidance was one of the worst guidances I've seen in quite some time. Reason for like they're supposed to hit 5.2 revenue. They guided for the full year. They guided to 4.3. That's over a 20% miss. Their EBITDA was supposed to be $1 billion this upcoming year. 225 is there like it's something is structurally changing for them to miss that significantly. And their daily active users for the past quarter was supposed to be 88 million. They came in at 85 million. So this is one of those companies that again, I come from the corporate strategy world. Like they financially engineer their numbers, and it's fine. Like it's just gaming is a very unique industry on like you kind of need to tailor it in a way that works for your own business because it's just so many different ecosystem. It's just so different than other industries. But Roblox, that was a massive miss, massive. And I have to hear the conference call on why that is. And this is one of those names that gets targeted on show reports all the time. So where there's smoke, there might be fire, especially in that guide. So like I would not touch at all. And I think it's just one of those names where it's too noisy unless you really know the company really well and do that hours and hours of research and gain that conviction. It's difficult to buy this right now, especially with the numbers that they just like shared. It really is.
Yeah,
So hopefully I answer your question.
I'm with you. Looking nasty. My buddy was in $70 Platino paper.
Yeah.
Animal. Absolute animal. What do we got? PAL. Feel free to drop tickers if you guys want us to check out some tickers as the market's opening and getting going here. We got PAL, P-O-W-L, PAL Industries. Why have I heard this? What do they do? Development, design, manufacture, and provision. No, that's why I think I know it. I'm thinking about my skateboard days. It's a company. Not the same company. Long story short, let's see. What's PAL doing? Consolidation. It looks like on the daily that it's been in. It's not a cheap stock, $248. But just pretty quiet here. Coming off huge impulsive moves to the upside, so been doing very well, especially when I look at a weekly chart, but definitely just taking a breather, right? Stocks don't move in one direction forever. We just had some consolidation that we broke out of from what is that, April, June, July there in last year, 2024, and then we're getting this impulsive move up, which is, I mean, from the breakout of the consolidation, we're up 85% on this ticker. So not surprising. It needed to pull back a little bit, consolidate. As of now, from the breakout, sitting at where it's at, you're up still 28.5% from that breakout area, right? So obviously, if you can hold up these lows, keep this consolidation going, and then, obviously get some momentum, higher lows, higher highs, back to these highs of 329 and 364. I think this looks good so far. It's just not a name I trade, not a name I'm super familiar with, but consolidation, healthy holding price action after big impulsive bullish moves. It's exactly what you want to see, right? So I think that looks pretty solid there. Any thoughts on PAL, Shay?
Never even heard of that company
Yeah.
before. Sorry.
Chart looks decent though. No, all good. All good.
I'm watching. The market's just not moving at all. It's stuck in mud.
Somebody was wondering. Tech had bad earnings. Netflix, TSM, Google all had good earnings. In my opinion, Google main reason for sell-off was big cap X, and its PE is 23 right now. For mega cap, it's extremely cheap. Semis are still cheap too. I don't know. Somebody was wondering about your thoughts on kind of all that, Shy, with the Google earnings.
I mean, Google was at an all-time high entering that print. That was
Yeah.
not an all-time high backing earnings. Like it wasn't. I agree. It's still strong numbers. Like,
But at those prices, it needs to have a really good earnings to
It
continue
does.
all-time highs. It can't, right? Yeah, I'm with you.
and I will say like, it bucked that narrative of like AI. They have to be defensive in AI. Like I do believe AI will be an accelerator for Google. I think you saw more evidence on that in their earnings report. But it's all about like earnings. Like it's actually all about like the multiple premium that they had. Like I agree, like everyone can like it's very subjective. Like you can say it stocks undervalued, overvalued, etc. When the fundamentals lean more on it's less attractive post print than pre print because capex went up, revenue was actually a little lower. It rebalances a bit, and now it needs to reflect that a little. So I'm not saying Google's gonna go to 150, but I it might hit a new all-time high before they report the next earnings. Who knows? But like, either way, like on a DCF model, you need to factor in that negative imbalance that we got from that earnings report. And it is, if you had to pick one side, you can't say it was more bullish than bearish. You just can't. Like looking at just the numbers in the near term. In semiconductors, I think Nvidia is fine. I think AMD maybe will catch a bid on semiconductor narrative, but it won't have legs. Nvidia is just I said 125 was that level. If it maintains that, it's a great trade entering the earnings report because CapEx is strong, way stronger than expected on what their guides are going to be for this year. And Nvidia is going to be the main beneficiary of that. And they also have the Broadcoms, Astera Labs, Marvells, etc. Can be capitalizing on it as well. But Nvidia is fine. And I think they usually have this hissy fit a bit before they report their earnings. Always some kind of narrative gets dropped. I think I was hoping for $102 to $105 for like me to do that trade because that's a great anchored out VWAP from their January 2024 breakout. But we didn't get that. We never usually get that great of deals on Nvidia because they are the kingpin of the new digital economy.
Yeah, good stuff. Me personally, just taking a look at Tesla this morning. So I have this daily range low on the daily chart at 373.04. Now, if you bump down your time frame on an hourly, we actually, since it was just the daily candles, we actually did wick an after hours, or I don't know if it was an after hours, doesn't matter. We ended up wicking down lower to that 365.07. So I'm also watching that on the hourly chart. Long story short, it's all about how Tesla closes today. I know there's been some bad news and stuff going on. For my style of trading, like none of that matters. It doesn't matter whether it's good news, bad news, what news it is. Like it's all pretty irrelevant unless it's massively affecting the stock, which this is not, in my opinion. So I would like to see potentially test that hourly low 365.07. Would love to see a break of it and reclaim, and then ideally Tesla gets a daily close over that 373.04 today. If we do get that, that's going to be triggering long for me. Even with bad news, all that stuff, it doesn't matter to me. It's all irrelevant. So For my style of trading, of course, it might be very relevant for you. Not saying it won't be. It's just like it's not even a concern for me. So just something I'm watching there. It's all about the chart, and we'll see how that closes today. But something I'm keeping my eye on for potential swings. I'm already in April 500 calls for Tesla, but I'm in there pretty light, and because I didn't have full confirmation of me getting the move that I wanted quite yet. So I'm waiting to add to that when I see the confirmation I want. If not, we're going to get, continued displacement to the downside through these levels that I'm actually looking for Tesla to sweep, and I'll have to end up stopping out of my options, right, which is totally fine. But until I actually see that, I anticipate we sweep these lows and end up closing above them today, but we'll see. We will see. You see jobs, think the market's reacted normally. I didn't even see the jobless claims numbers yet. If they came out, what do we got?
Was it noisy?
219K, yeah, versus 213. Continued jobless claims was 1.886 million versus 1.87 million, pretty much in line. Tomorrow we got unemployment rate, which I don't think is going to be too far out of line either. I think that will come in pretty much in line, personally. And then non-farm payrolls. That's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow is non-farm payrolls. If you guys have kind of traded on the spaces or have been around like my crew a little bit, you guys know we use NFP levels pretty frequently. That data that comes out tomorrow, it gives us extremely accurate levels to use. So I'll be watching for that tomorrow and getting those levels. But yeah, man. Not too much thoughts from the jobs data for me.
Palantir is just like still, it's crazy how much they're holding that $100 level. They're the leading indicator in my growth portfolio up over 2%. It's just holy moly, it's crazy how
Wild.
it's just the strength in that number.
Market's looking interesting here. I have no real clarity here. I didn't trade at all yesterday. I've traded one day this week, guys. One day, so we'll see if we get something actionable today, but I don't know. I know, and there's been moves, but as you know, if you follow my trading at all, I don't scout. So I'm looking for those bigger moves, and we're just not getting that right now. For me, no good risk to reward setups, at least for those bigger moves that are happening. But it'll come, and when it does, when there's clarity, I will be capitalizing on it. But we'll see. This market looks pretty good. I have reason to believe we still drift higher unless NQ cannot make a new high, because ES did make a new high. NQ is lagging, failing to make that new high. A little bit of divergence there, but I would anticipate we make the push towards daily highs. That is where the market is being drawn to, in my opinion, as long as we are holding these previous day highs. So if we want to dip down, which we kind of already did on NQ, test those previous day highs, as long as we're not getting displacement under that level, I have to believe that we make the move towards, I don't know if we will get there, but at least towards 965.75 on NQ. Might seem crazy. Oh my God, that's 200 points away. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see where this market wants to go.
I can't believe Roblox is recovering as well.
Is it? Yeah. Getting better sell quick, huh?
Crazy.
Sell those puts quick.
What happened to Salesforce? That's down 5% today. And that's
I don't know. They didn't have earnings or anything.
No.
I don't know. On the daily, it's not absolutely horrible, but intraday, that looks a little gross for sure.
No, that's a big move for Salesforce.
I have a big order block sitting lower. 320. 320 even, too. I could see us coming down to that order block. That's on the daily as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we need to test that.
Yeah, I don't know.
XYZ has a big reverse head and shoulders. I'm hesitant with chart patterns. So I assume you're looking at this on the daily, right? Thinking inverse. To me, I just see consolidation, right? There could be an inverse in there. To me, that's just aside the point, right? Whether it's a picture or not, you're seeing consolidation. That's what you're seeing after an impulsive move up. It's healthy. And you need momentum to continue to the upside, in my opinion, right? You need momentum to come in, break outside of this consolidation, whether or not it's a bull flag, inverse head and shoulders, whatever it may be, right? The market needs to breathe, or this name needs to breathe, and that's what it's been doing. It's been taking a breather, rebalancing to some imbalances that it needed to on the daily. We're consolidating sideways. Now it's time for momentum to come back in. So I think things are pretty quiet on block right now, and they'll probably stay quiet until you get actual, confluence for getting out of this consolidation. Until then, we're ranging. It's accumulation between this, in this 20-point range, basically. So looking pretty quiet. Any big thoughts on block, Shy?
I hate Jack as a CEO. I would never touch a company that Jack's in charge of. So I also don't like the fintech space at all. I just don't understand like what people see in it. I really don't. It's just cannibalized products. Like there's no differentiation between them. I it's just so boring to me. Maybe that's why it's just so boring, and I can't see Robinhood's the only fintech company I can see an actual moat because they nail their UI experience. Everyone else, like, what's different from it's tomato? Like it's just so like they're just gonna be eating each other up, and long term, like I don't see the bid. I really don't, and I do think the financial landscape is going to change once if blockchain actually does something, which I think they should in theory. In practice, like it should be disruptive, and I don't know what that's going to mean in the fintech space. Like maybe Square does well because they're betting on crypto, but as not my lane. I just don't like Jack as CEO. Hate the space. So like I put that in the bucket of I don't monitor at all.
I get you. Let's see what other tickers we got. Someone wants EISC. Uh-oh. I don't know if that's a ticker. Or maybe it was typed wrong. I don't know. Let me know. Happy to check it out. Let's see what I'm looking at. Coinbase, big pop and then drop, trying to fill this gap now. What's going on there? Tesla coming into that big hourly level. I'm watching closely there. Microsoft booming. Jeez. Apple booming. So expect SPY up, that's for sure. If those two big names are looking good. Let's see. ES is kind of, SPY and ES are kind of hanging out. Kind of a quiet open here. I think NQ is looking a bit stronger. Even with Tesla doing what it's doing. What about... Also, VIX under $16, guys.
I was just going to say, I might get it. I think it's actually going to be lower than, no, it's actually 15.60. If it breaks 15, I think I am going to buy some hedges again.
Yeah.
You guys know my rinse and repeats until it breaks, but buy hedging when it's cheap. You never know what's going to occur. And I feel like today, the way it's going, it might be a VIX train type of day. So I'll be looking to buy some October hedges potentially.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And for me, just seeing VIX at 16, markets up, I'll likely be sizing slightly heavier. Not risking more dollar amounts. It's not about that. It's just in terms of the amount of points I'm going to be risking on each trade is inherently less because there's less volatility in the market. So, if I'm only risking 10, 20 points, I'm happy to throw on some more contracts to be able to risk the same amount of dollars that I usually risk. And then vice versa, when VIX is over 17, 18, 20 bucks, all that, I'm sizing half what I usually size, depending on what I actually need to size. That's when I use a futures calculator. We figure out how many points we're risking, how much dollars I want to risk, etc., and we do that. But again, name of the game this year, I really think that's going to keep a lot of people alive is sizing correctly. And if you're not sizing correctly, I say it all the time, but I'm going to keep saying it because it drills into people's brains, and hopefully it will help somebody. But if you're trading massive size when VIX is at 13, you're just not doing that when VIX is over 18, 19, 20 bucks. So know your environment, please. Be careful. Your sizing can make or break your account, literally. So be very cautious with that. But other than that, this market, no setups for me quite yet on the futures. Keeping my eye on Tesla for the options. We'll see if we get what we want there. Obviously, I'm going to be probably if I do enter that, I might take a little speculative play entering for a sweep which would be a little more risky, but the real entry will be towards the close of the day for me, depending on how we close. So I'll be watching that. But yeah, anything else for the crew, Shy? You got
It's gonna. Do you have any macro data for tomorrow? Because that's gonna be a big one.
just
combined with
NFP unemployment.
NFT is pretty big. So
NFP is pretty big. That's yeah.
and also like people are starting to get PTSD for like holding stocks on Friday and during the weekend. So like we'll see what Amazon produces this afternoon, NFP, and also it makes sense not to hold stocks over the weekend. So we'll see some probably volatility in the afternoon tomorrow. So yeah, be prepared. I'm being a turtle right now with my cash position. Like I just don't see deals. I don't see the volatility of oversold nature. So like I'm just like I'm a spectator right now,
Yeah.
and it's okay to do that. We mentioned it yesterday. Like, it's okay not to trade. Like if you don't feel comfortable to do that, and I don't feel comfortable investing right now.
That might be me
Um,
again today,
yeah,
guys, and that would be 3 days of me not trading. Doesn't matter. If I don't see what I want, I don't care, right? And it's just a different mindset to be in, but it's a matter of waiting for those higher probability setups, right? Where you're actually confident and actually have conviction, right? I don't like to guess. So if I feel like I'm guessing at all, I'd rather not participate. I don't care if I miss out. Doesn't matter, right? So I think staying in that mindset is good. Real quick, Next Gen was just wondering if you, Shire, majority day trader, swing trader, or long-term investor. I know you're majority long-term, but you get in the swing trades a little bit
I
here,
do
here
totally.
and there,
Yeah,
for sure.
when I see
Yeah.
a great setup, I do swing trading. So I might that's what I might be doing with my 12% cash position. But if Nvidia pulls back to 125, like I might just do a swing trade on that. So like
Yeah.
I am watching that level. Yeah, you have to wear multiple hats this day and age. Like you can't just be one lane. Like you have to have all the tools in your tool shed to outperform the market right now. And for me, like hedging, like I'm up 16% this year already, maybe 17% for this open. Like I hit my quota. My quota is 15% every year. So like if I had 87% in 2023, 65% or 67% last year, I'm at 16% already. I'm like I'm gonna be more on the defensive side just because this is ridiculous performance. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the next like Omaha, like Warren Buffett or like the Nancy Pelosi. Like there's going to be some kind of eventually. And I'm going to be leaning towards defensive. And 12% cash position might be defensive for a lot of people already. I just think there's room to capitalize on. Like for right now, Hims and Hers Health, that stock, you guys already know I'm a long term bear in it. Daily chart, it's at an 85, the RSI. It's overbought right now. So I might be looking at, looking at the chart right now, it looks like it wants to retest the $35 level. It's at 41. Maybe I'll play that, but also the IV's at 95% on their contracts, even for July expiration. So like, it's not that much you can be squeezed on that kind of play. So either way, to answer your question, I'm well rounded, and you kind of have to be a well rounded investor in this day and age.
Yep. I agree. Well, that's going to do it for the show today, guys. I appreciate the whole crew tuning in. As always, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing on the Stock Twits channel. And we'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. I am going to be live day trading futures on my stream, so feel free to join that. We're over on Twitch. But yeah, we'll see everybody bright and early in the morning. It's FAFO Friday tomorrow, so we're going to wrap up the week strong. My man Shy will not be on the show, but we will have, I think, probably Michael now, so don't quote me on that, but we'll probably have a fun guest on. So stay tuned for that into tomorrow, guys. And yeah, trade safe today. We'll see y'all bright and early in the morning. Have a good one.